Hey, I'm Missy Albrecht. I'm a doctor of physical therapy and owner of Invincible out here in Denver, Colorado. And I'm really excited to share a new project that I've been working on for a few years now. It's called Thrive. And the whole purpose of it is to educate people on the importance of getting your abdomen to move. So when you are going through nutrition changes, working out, working on your mobility, if you're not working on this area of your body, you're really just surviving. And I want you to learn how to thrive so that all of those nutrients you're feeding your body and the hard work you're spending mobilizing and working out actually benefits your body to the maximum. So when I was in PT school, I found out I had a gluten intolerance, and it was actually referring, the restrictions that it created in my intestines was referring pain to my lower back. So that's kind of how I got involved with what's called visceral mobilization. So I've taken a few courses on it, and it's really cool that with this whole new idea of self-care, that you guys can actually work on this stuff on your own, as long as you kind of know what you're doing and learning what areas that you need to work on, and that's what I'm here to help you with. So whether you are, again, in a nutrition program right now and trying to really make the most out of the nutrients you feed your body, you're working on specific mobility, or working on certain fitness gains, or even just trying to be pain-free, this stuff is going to be really helpful for you. So what is abdominal mobility? So if you look at Betty here, we're basically going to be talking about the space from the bottom of your rib cage to right here in your pelvis. So this includes the skin, the fascia, the muscles, and then even deeper the fat, the organs, the muscles on the backside here. It's this entire area that we're working on, including the diaphragm. This is a ball right here, but this is supposed to be where the diaphragm is. And so what we're talking about is all of these tissues are intertwined. So there's nerves running through them, and the most common pain referral that people know of is when someone's having a heart attack, you get referred pain into the left shoulder. So this type of referred pain, like I had in PT school, is similar, not to the same extent obviously, but you can actually have lower back pain, hip pain, shoulder pain from minimal restrictions in your abdomen, which can lead you towards chronic issues in the future. Now, what happens is, because of where the organs are, where they sit in this abdominal cavity, they line up against the muscles and the nerves and the blood vessels. So if something gets irritated in the viscera, you actually can get an irritation of the local nerve or muscle, so it may tighten to protect. So say you've been working on your hip mobility forever, and you have tried standing desks, you stretch, you do the voodoo band, you do all that kind of stuff, but it just keeps coming back. This is something that you can kind of look into, because an irritation in your organs can actually create that tightness that just kind of remains. So that's a really kind of outside of the box thinking, but for those chronic people who have pain or limitations in their mobility, it's amazing. So the other thing is, we get restrictions in our abdomen via stress, not breathing properly, eating inflammatory foods, surgeries, scars, doing a bunch of sit-ups, that kind of stuff. So when those organs aren't working optimally, I'm not saying that they're in failure or anything like that, they're just not able to work optimally because they need to be able to have a little bit of movement. So when you're feeding your body all these nutrients and drinking water and that kind of stuff, they're not actually working to their best ability because they don't have that play. So not only are they sticking to the muscles and the nerves and the surrounding tissue, they're also just not performing the way that they should. So it's kind of what we're talking about in here. So that was the first one here. That was optimal organ function. Now, second one here is breathing mechanics. So touched on this briefly, but when we are stressed out, which is most of the population, we breathe up in here. Breathing down here, learning how to use your diaphragm, is what helps to naturally get the abdominal contents to move. And because we're just not used to breathing that way, we're used to breathing up here, this area just gets tight and stiff and stuff like that. So we're going to be talking about that in the videos. As far as tissue mobility, getting the fascia and the muscles and the skin here moving better, it's going to improve your shoulder flexibility. It's going to improve the way that your spine moves. It's the same kind of idea as rolling out your chest or your quad. It's going to get things moving better so that they can work properly. Same thing goes with joint mobility. So anytime an organ is near a muscle that crosses a joint, it will limit that. But it can also, we all know by now that everything is connected. So a restriction in your intestines here could limit all the way down to your left ankle, cause you to compensate on your right ankle, and cause issues on that side too. So that's where the joint mobility comes in. And then for pain and injury, if tissue and joint mobility are not moving properly, you're already more prone to injury, depending on what kind of activity you do. But it can actually cause that referred pain and create kind of a chronic pain where you're just like, well, I guess I'm old, or I guess this is just an injury that I have to accept. And that's where it's been really cool to see with my patients, because we've been able to unlock that last little bit of pain and get them pain-free. So pretty exciting stuff. So what we're going to do in the next few videos is I'm going to take you through some get your guts moving. We're going to talk about some bedtime mobility, going to talk about controlling your stress, which is really important, and then just some extra tidbits on making a smooth transition with any nutrition program. So I'm really excited to share all of this with you. My contact information is on my website, invincible-athlete.com, and let's get started.